No, it's really exciting because one of the things that we love doing is being able to compete in front of the community, and not having to travel and be able to wake up in your own bed and be on a familiar surface. I know all tracks are 400 meters around, and the sectors and the shot put ring, and they're all the same. But doing it, where you train on a daily basis and being able to do it in front of family and friends, it makes a huge difference. And right now, especially our team is really starting to gel, as far as a total team, both men and women, from sprints, hurdles, jumps, and the distances. It's really nice to be able to open up with such a meet like the Jim Click Shootout.
Now this is the multis.
Yep.
So Alyssa Thompson, she's from Tucson.
Yep.
Are you expecting her to kind of have a big week this week?
Well, no pressure on her, but yeah, I'm going to put pressure on her. I'm really expecting her to have a sensational meet. She's done all the things that she needed to do from preparation stages to put herself in position to have I think a personal best in the multis, and put her mark one of the top 15 marks I think in the country is where she's at right now. So she's had a lot of pressure on herself early on during indoor season because she's trying to get into medical school, and actually we had to miss the Mountain Pacific Championships indoors because her final interview for med school was that Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, her going to med school,
yeah.
Obviously you want to put an importance of education as well as being an athlete here, but I mean, being a medical student, that's pretty important. I mean, I don't know if you've had a student like that before. Or...
we've had a ton of them, and one of the things that I think is really important, and this is on the record, and I'm okay if my boss sees this and hears this, and it's all good, because what we do out here is God's given talent, and we are able to hone that and shape that. You're going to stop running and you're going to stop jumping one day. This is going to end. This is a short window, and I think our responsibility as an academic athletic program is we have to recruit the best athletes humanly possible, but we also have to put them in position to do something when they're done here. And for her to miss our indoor conference meet to have her final interview in med school, that's a no-brainer for me. Like, what are you going to do? Just not go to an interview, not be accepted? I mean,
and then another thing I wanted to talk about was the rankings just recently came out. The men's is #1 on the West Coast. Women's #4. I mean, what does it say to your team? I mean, knowing that you guys are amongst some of the best in the country.
Yeah, and rankings are they're just that. They're rankings, but they're a little different than, say, basketball rankings or baseball, football rankings, because it's purely about numbers. And I always tell my athletes, numbers don't lie. Okay? If my guy throws 70 feet and your guy throws 60 feet, my guy's better than your guy. And so therefore the rankings are really based upon how we performed, and it's a real honor, an indicator to the team as to what they've been doing, the work that they put in, and that this is the result of the work and the performances that you have. It's not 4 guys sitting in a room saying, hey, I think Arizona's better than Cal. I mean, it's you've jumped this far, and it's and so therefore you're ranked higher.
One of your bright spots this year has been Jordan Geist. I don't know if you've ever coached a guy like him before.
No, be pretty frank with
you. At least a freshman.
I mean, when you look at what he's done, historically, okay, no one has ever coached a guy like Jordan Geist. No one. He's the youngest guy to ever throw 70 feet. So you can talk about a lot of great throws coaches, but what TJ Crater has done in terms of, first of all, recruiting those guys to be able to come to school here, and then having them get here, there is something to be said about having great talent and having that great talent perform. One had said, I heard it many times about, well, all Sean Miller does is get these great guys, and well, yeah, that's exactly what he does. He goes and gets the very best guys, and then tries to formulate a team, and there's an art to that. And so Jordan Geist, no one's ever coached him, but he is the perfect guy for a team because he cares about everything else on the team, the hurdles, the jumps, sprints, and what he's doing in terms of his own development in the throws.
Does it help that Tyrell Johnson is not a football player anymore, and he's just kind of focusing on whole track?
Yeah, well, I'm going to let you use that quote that he's not a football player anymore, but I'm not getting sucked into that one.
He's not getting ready for like spring practice, and he's just focusing right now on being a track runner.
Well, and one of the conversations that I had with him, because I coached Michael Bates back in in the early '90s, and he won the bronze medal in the 200 meters in the in the Olympic Games, and then was drafted in the 4th round by Seattle. And the one thing that that can't deny, if you're a ball player and you have film, and you put marks on the track. Marks on the track are different than some guys coming out and timing you in a 40. I mean, this is electronic timing, head-to-head, and if you have the ability to play at the next level, you're going to get your look, but you have to go in there ready to play. And so track is really giving him that opportunity to stay competitive. And if he does get an opportunity, to go to a team, it's going to benefit him. But for us right now, it's one of the things that we've always wanted and been proud of, being able to have guys that are in football be able to come out and help us on the track.
And another athlete that's been a bright spot of you has been Justice Summerset. Yep. He's a freshman All-American last year. I mean, what have you seen, just his progress and everything that he's done this year? Yeah,
first of all, having those local All-American type athletes on your team, it's hard when you have a kid of that caliber and they've been here their entire life. Sometimes they think it's a little bit greener on the other side. So to be able to keep them in town and then have them be able to perform at that level, it's huge for us. And this year, what Justin is doing, they're working on some things differently with his technique, which is going to be a little bit of a process in terms of giving him the best opportunity to jump high. For example, we can keep him the same, and he can jump 7.2, 7.3 all the time. And some coaches said, well, that's fine. Just don't screw with this thing. Let's go with that. But if you want this young man to be able to jump 7.6, 7.7, have some shots at 7.8, there's some technical things that have to change. And believe me, he's a great guy, but it is not comfortable. When you start changing things with people, it's like, hey, a competitor knows that, am I jumping high or am I not jumping high? That whole aspect of development, you can talk to someone else about that, but again, if you want to jump 7.8.
Absolutely. Yeah. What are you looking forward to most about the competition this weekend? Any team that kind of puts you kind of more confidently going in, or the team that you're looking forward to racing against? Well,
I like having, and the reason why I put the meet together the way that I do is I like a great cross section of the country. So you have Auburn from the SEC coming in, and they're sprint loaded, and they're ready to do some great things there. Kansas State, they do great in the sprints and the multis, and then with Cincinnati coming in, they won the American Conference Indoor Championship. So they're gonna bring a lot to the table. And then Ohio State is school from the Big 12, or Big 10 that always is gonna be formidable. And so our athletes get a chance to see all these different athletes from across the country. So they're when you see them at a national championship, it's not foreign to them.
And do you kind of, when you schedule these teams, is it kind of more of, hey, we're on the brink of national competition here coming up soon? Is this kind of them to get ready for that level?
And it is, and the way I sell it to most of the programs, that when you think about going to a national championship, when you think about the thousands of athletes in track and field, you're going to have less than 10% of all athletes participating in track and field ever go to a national championship. So to be able to have them come into a meet of this caliber, have a welcome dinner with all 300 plus athletes there, and then a banquet dinner, and then have the level of competition we have, it's really special for the programs. And so a lot of teams are in line to try to get here to the Jim Click Shootout.